What's up? I've got another podcast episode for y'all, another preview of Transfer Portal CFB podcast presented by NoContextCFB. We've got a really fun episode ahead of y'all. There's so much happening in sports right now. There's so much happening in college football right now. And I got to be honest, we're not going to be talking about Clay Helton going to Georgia Southern. We're not going to be talking about the monkey debacle at Texas. We're definitely not going to be talking about those college football playoff rankings because that doesn't deserve our time. Those were an atrocity and we're done with that. So, Andrew, you're one of our hosts for today. What's up, man? Your Gophers are actually ranked in this awful top 25. How are you doing?
I wasn't a big fan of the rankings, but all I can say is there's a different committee I'm preferring right now. So
the Transfer Portal CFB committee and the Sickos Committee. Yep. Lauren, what's up? How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. We just found out our game against Auburn is sold out, so should be a good old rowdy Kyle Field at 2:30 on a Saturday for a prime game.
That's going to be a very fun game. I hope we don't disappoint you by picking Auburn. Thanks. That would be dreadful. And we've got our special guest for the week, Commissioner Escalante of the Sickos Committee. What's up, Commish? How are you doing?
Doing great. I definitely do appreciate being here. This is my first podcast as commissioner. We did not hold an election. It was a hostile takeover. They found out I went to ULM and I support Terry Bowden, so they nominated me for commissioner. So it was great, and I accepted the role as commissioner of the Sickos Committee.
You're definitely doing a lot of big things as the commissioner of Sickos Committee. It sounds funny to say. I know we've had our laughs about it before the podcast, but you and the rest of your team are doing such an amazing job. Do you just kind of want to tell us like how you got the idea for Sickos Committee? Any ideas you have for the account in the future, how to grow it and everything? Just kind of talk us through Sickos Committee.
So, last year we went through the pandemic, which is still ongoing. Some of our I guess favorite podcast hosts, we typically listen to the Shutdown Fullcast and like podcasts Ain't Played Nobody and things of that nature. They were let go, and then so they tried to come back in a form called the Moon Crew, and they started Discord. And so we joined the Discord to help them through the pandemic, try to get some sort of income. And then you throw in Discord a bunch of people who listen to the full cast. You're going to get some interesting characters. You're going to get some people with some strange backgrounds, but all have an affinity for college football, mostly the weird and wackiness of college football. I think maybe about November or October of last year, 2020, we started to focus on what games were being played, and we started to notice that a lot of the games, would get canceled, and then we started to pay attention to a little bit more of the games that are typically on the undercard. Like you would have your main matchup, like Lauren has with A&M and Auburn. And then, we're looking at like the Purdue versus Northwestern game being like the only option. And we're like, hey, let's check this out. It's going to be a lot of punts. It's going to be some sloppy football. There's going to be some turnovers. So we started to rank the games on what type of, I guess, projected chaos they would have, and what would be like a sicko game in the situation. So we would look at those games, and I would start like just looking at the schedule the next week, and I would rank like a top 10 of games. And then I would just throw it in the Discord, and then we would just bicker back and forth like, no, Indiana at Rutgers is more sickos than, Kentucky at Ole Miss or something. And we would actually go through a thought process of what game, has the more crazy storyline, what game has the the most interesting aspect to make it, Sickos and match, I guess, the meme that was created from the Onion cartoon. So we kind of developed that at the end of last year. We did our first end of the year Sicko team rankings, just to see who was the most Sicko team. And last year, 2020, Michigan was the most Sickos team. They finished number 1 in the poll. So once this season rolled around, we kind of took it a little bit more serious, I guess, as much as you can take Sickos football, a little bit more serious. We started ranking more games because this year we had all teams playing. And we decided to go through all of the schedules. We had a couple of hard, fast rules when we were ranking. We didn't really want to rank games where it's like an FBS team versus an FCS team. We tried to keep that because it's, we understand they're dealing with a financial gap typically. And we don't want to make fun of or punch down on maybe a lowly FCS team, unless you happen to lose to that FCS team on a Hail Mary at the end of the game in your own stadium. But then we can talk about that. But things, we don't want to rank those. So we're trying to just look at the team as a whole. We don't want to call out a certain individual. I mean, some coaching situations, they're quite interesting. They make themselves a little bit more sicko. And so we did a preseason poll. We've done weekly rankings. We've done one midseason poll. We're probably going to do another poll after this week in this case. And we let everybody who follows the account vote on a Google Doc form. And you all are welcome to vote too. And then we spreadsheet it out. And then we create just a really, really Sickos graphic with Comic Sans to really, really drive home the Sickos brand. Because, I mean, I think that's definitely the most Sickos font that we could find, besides, Wingdings or something like that.
So this is open to the public for people to vote for. And on your mid-season poll, 16 people voted for the Detroit Lions.
So it's a weighted thing. So if you get so it's not just one vote per person. So it's if you vote them in first place vote, it's worth 10 points, second place 9 points, things like that. So 16 total points. People thought the Detroit Lions, which they actually may be moving up, I think. And people submitted in the South Harmon Institute of Technology from the movie Accepted. Somebody in the first poll voted Banana Tech. It could be a real school. I don't
Maybe an ode to the Santa Cruz banana slugs.
Could that's what we were trying to figure out, but we don't collect any of that data or anything, so we couldn't contact this person hey, you voted for Banana Tech, who did you mean? Or so we just put it there. And we just don't take ourselves seriously. College football is it's supposed to be fun. A lot of the times, as you were talking about, we don't want to talk about the playoff. There's 130 teams in FBS, and you really think about it, a very small percentage of them have a shot at the national title, and then there's over 100 teams that are just forgotten throughout the year. They're fans; they'll still follow. But the weekly games, when you look at it, everybody's, last year, everybody seemed to focus on the playoff. We were just trying to, I guess, force to finish the season. And then this year, it just seems like, there's teams that there's fans. I mean, the committee is made up of, as I mentioned previously, I went
made
to
up
ULM.
Of cowards. The college football playoff committee. Yeah,
no. When you say the committee, we don't want to be associated with that one. We may need to change the name. No,
that's my bad.
So our committee, we have Michigan State fans, they're loving it. We have Michigan fans. We have folks that went to Dartmouth, Illinois. We have UTSA fans. We have, it's a committee of fans inside our Discord that go to all of the other schools that are associated with FBS. Their ideal success of a season is a little bit different compared to, let's just say, your Alabama fan, your Ohio State fan. The committee is made up of basically, you know, fans of teams that are not necessarily the blue blood. I mean, we do have some Nebraska fans, but they're kind of self-deprecating Nebraska fans because they understand where they're at in the hierarchy, and then the old Nebraska fans from the 90s, I guess, are the ones that are the most boisterous. But the committee, basically, we work together, we come together with these rankings, and it's just it's a madhouse. I couldn't necessarily run the Twitter account without them. I probably do the majority of the tweets. If they're really bad, I apologize. Some are good, some are bad, but you know, some have dad humor. Some are just not great, but others are pretty fun when you get to see a 3-yard punt from Central Connecticut against Miami, which was actually probably the best 3-yard punt we've ever seen in our lives. We all celebrate something like that. That's something to, you know, celebrate, have fun, and enjoy, because I mean, college football is really, it's about the players, it's about having fun. Yeah, the big teams take it a whole lot more serious, but I mean, we're fans of, like, I mean, Dartmouth football. Are you really taking Dartmouth football that seriously?
They've got
Apparently
nice helmets.
they do. Apparently Buddy Tevens is there, so we learned that from the Stanford and Tulane days. I mean, the Harvard Princeton 5 overtime game was hilarious, and you know, bad refereeing and things like that. It's something that we just try to shine a light on the sport in a different way. We're not necessarily like the anti you know, big committee that decides the playoff, but I mean, we love action. I mean, we love it all. I mean, it's like the little games. I mean, I'm really excited about Old Dominion versus Florida International this week. I am
That's
overly
sick.
excited for that. I mean, it's 2-6 Old Dominion versus 1-4 Florida International. I'm sorry, 1-7. I apologize. 1-7 Florida International, and they play on this turf. And when you look at it on TV, you can never really tell if it's wet or if it's dry. It looks like it's raining there all the time. I can't tell. I don't know if it's bad camera, but we jokingly call it the swamp turf because it just looks damp at all times. And I mean, just looking at the projections of it, I will share those with you later. But I think like the projected points for both of them, it's like 22-21, and I can't wait to see who wins this one.
And I can't wait to see another hamburger race at FIU. Those have been fantastic.
They have the most interesting, like, halftime show promotions, and I mean, the football is you know, it's quite sicko. The halftime show is fantastic also. So I'll leave it at that.
It definitely is good. And you went very in-depth about your account and everything, which we greatly appreciate. There's so much fun about Sickos Committee. You and I both know that college football runs so much deeper than the blue bloods, like you said, than the top teams. And there's not many accounts that dedicate their Saturdays or weeks to the group of fives and even lower than that. So like, props to y'all for helping promote the game and everything. It's very, very, very good. Makes a lot of people happy. Your account continues to grow. We know it's going to really take off here when bowl season starts. That's going to be nuts. Bowl season is so dang good for engagement.
We are, last year, I think we didn't tweet it out, but we did the bowl game Sickos rankings. And I mean, we factor in where the field is played. We factor in, you know, the game. If it's on like a Tuesday afternoon, that gives it a little bit more Sickos bonus points than, like, you know, a normal like Saturday night primetime game. You if it's in the Tropicana Dome, which I don't think they play there anymore. We missed that, the Beef O'Brady's Bowl. We love that bowl, and we jokingly said the most Sickos Bowl to us is the one. It's the Independence Bowl. It's like the stadium. We jokingly say that we have a headquarters. The Sickos Committee headquarters is based out of a Best Western on Monkhouse Drive in Shreveport, Louisiana. We have the conference room, and it's right across from the Family Dollar. So that is our joking background of the Sickos Committee, which is quite literally insane to say out loud.
One of the bad beats capital of the world, really
Yes.
is. Shout out to Scott Van Pelt. You need a shout out from us. Now you've got your recognition. He might blow up
Yes.
now. I don't know. We'll get into our next topic. I'll start with you, Andrew. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna name a Sickos team. Give me your thoughts on their 2021 season. First team, UConn.
UConn. Shout out Jack Mack, of course. UConn's biggest fan. They won a football game. What else can you say about them? I mean, it's UConn. We don't expect much, but they won a football game, which was more than I thought they would do this year. Yeah, and I've heard some stuff today. What are they looking at a head coach? Was it like Temple's head coach or something, Liam?
Al Golden.
Oh, Al Golden. Yeah, that's a UConn hire. If I've ever heard one.
Jack Mack can't be happy about that.
I'm sorry.
Lauren, what are your thoughts on UConn in 2021?
I know this is going to sound absolutely stupid, so just go with me here. The fact that they in Vanderbilt had a good game, like, made my year. Good relative terms, but yeah, I just thought that was fun, and good for them. They are putting up points, and I think that's beautiful. So UConn, they're just there. I love when they recruit Texas high school football players. I think that's beautiful. People have gone to play there, and they're just they're just doing their thing, and it's okay if their thing isn't what everyone else considers to be a college football program.
It says a lot right there that the UConn Vandy game made your year, and you were at the Alabama A&M game and stormed the field. But yeah, Commish, let's go to you.
I think Lauren.
Yeah.
Lauren's in the committee right now after that comment. We will put you as a ranking officer. They're all made up positions, so Commish, I have that authority apparently. But you're in the committee now, so thank you for that, Lauren. No, but UConn has been like, the first game that they played this year was at Fresno, and it was like 120 on the field, and they got blown out, I think 45-0. That was brutal for the kids, and I think Edsel maybe quit or said he was going to retire a week or two after that. Then they showed something when they played Wyoming. Wyoming was undefeated at the time, and we thought Wyoming was good. They almost won that game. They missed a 2-point conversion at the end. The Vandy and UConn game, we kind of dubbed that one the Sickos game of the week, year, or whatever. That was a fantastic game, and we kind of thought UConn was going to win it. And the committee was upset. There was a bogus pass interference call that actually gave Vandy the win, and so we're still upset with the referees there. They got a little home cooking in Nashville, I think. And then the Sickos game of the year with them, between UMass and UConn. I actually watched that one on something called Flow Sports, which it's a streaming service, I guess. If you want to watch like James Madison, it's not great.
We don't like Flow Sports here.
So there was the most sicko thing about the game for that is anytime somebody went to kick a field goal in one particular end zone, it was like an obstructed view, like you're in Fenway Park. There's like a pole right in your way trying to figure out if this kick is good or bad. And I mean, that was amazing. And then UMass rushed the field after that, after winning their first game. I'm definitely glad that UConn hung on to win against Yale. We actually kind of thought maybe they would give Middle Tennessee a fight. And oh boy, were we wrong there. But I wish UConn all the luck upcoming after their double bye week to play Clemson.
They've had a lot of time to prepare for that. What do you call that offense? It's an offense. It's bad. It's a few weeks, months, whatever it be ago when we had Jack Mack on. We were talking about how many players does UConn need on offense or defense to be successful against Clemson. We really were thinking like UConn might need like 12 players on the field wouldn't be enough. 13, would that be enough? And now we're here where it's like Clemson's offense is so bad. Like, can we actually see what they could do against UConn's defense 11 on 11? But yeah, I don't know. UConn, better luck next year. Let's move on to UTEP. Lauren, you're based in Texas. What do you have to say about this team from El Paso?
Well, based in Texas, however, they could literally be 3 states over. That is like a 10-hour drive from where I am. So Texas, but always. UTEP is really interesting to me. A lot of my knowledge of them is based on how they recruit Texas high school football players, how I relate everything, whatever, it's fine. But they're impressing people. I think it's fun. They're just UTEP, you know, they're making words of themselves. People know them. And I think that's really impressive of them because they're like a flag. So they're like under UT Austin or that. So I don't know, get your name out there. That's basically really is what UTEP is doing.
Your distant cousins in Texas, I think, would be a good way to put it. They're so far away. Commish, your Sickos Committee has been all over UTEP this year. What do you have to say about them?
We love UTEP. The first game they had this year, this is going to sound really sickos. We didn't want to get Flow Sports, but we did for the UMass and whatever UConn game later. But we watched this game on a local kvia.com, like an El Paso affiliate on a website. So that is extremely sickos. We watched them dismantle New Mexico State and they won 30-3. Then we watched them beat Bethune-Cookman. And then they went 2-0 and we started paying attention to their schedule. And we had an idea because they're the miners and there's mine carts. And we created this really, like, we put the Sickos face on the front of the mine cart and we called it the UTEP Bowl Bound Express. And we thought there was a way that UTEP could get to 7 wins, 6 or 7 wins this year. And they went to Boise and Boise just blew them out because UTEP turned the ball over like 5 times and it was just not a great day. But then they rattled off 4 straight wins in a row and they made bowl eligibility. We were fighting for them to get game day, but they unfortunately just could not come back and defeat Florida Atlantic last week. They made a few mistakes, too many penalties, but we were hoping for them, UTSA and UTEP, to have game day. And we were trying to start a campaign to get it there. We don't have that large cachet, I guess, or pull. You know, the Sickos Committee can't sway game day just yet. Maybe in the future, but they have a great defense. They call it the Orange Crush defense. I want to see what they do against UTSA. UTSA's got a lot of running. Sincere McCormick is fantastic. It's going to be a good game and really, you know, just show you how far away UTEP is compared to the state. It's 9 hours from San Antonio. It's a 9-hour drive from San Antonio. So that's clear across the state, and there's really not much between San Antonio and El Paso in there. Maybe some weird the Big Bend National Park, but that's about it, really.
Yeah, we'll go to you now, Andrew. Your thoughts on UTEP?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting story this year. UTEP is no longer just Aaron Jones University. They actually have players on this year's team that we're just now talking about 2016, 2017. I didn't see UTEP winning 6 games. I don't think anybody did. I thought we thought that there was like a chance that they could do something, but starting 6-2 on a season is really freaking good for their standards. Jacob Cowling's been a very good wide receiver for them. And looking at their last 4 games, yes, they have UTSA, but they can beat North Texas. They can beat Rice. UAB is honestly another good game. If UTEP goes 9-3, like that might be one of the biggest shockers for this year. Just thinking about the last few years of UTEP, they can't win a game consistently. And then they just randomly go 9-3.
It's college football.
I mean,
Football.
that's the Sickos Committee bump right there, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
we believed. Yeah. And we have a really large Twitter following based out of El Paso. I never realized how many UTEP fans there were until we started doing the Bowl Bound Express, and they look forward to the mine cart, because every week that UTEP beats a team, we throw their logo in the mine cart as a joke. And I mean, it's just been an ongoing thing, and they love it. We love it. It's a lot of fun.
It's definitely great. And Andrew, you spoke about Aaron Jones there. Disrespect to Alvin Jones, man. Come on. Was a great miner along with Aaron. Jacob Cowing is a fantastic receiver that NFL draft fans need to know. We'll go on to our next team, and we'll start right back with you, Commish, Nebraska.
Yes, our preseason ranked #1 Sickos team of the year. They fell to 2 in the midseason poll. UConn overtook them. But Nebraska is like the ultimate, I guess, Schadenfreude team to watch for the Sickos. It's not necessarily, we don't know what the issue is. It's just like they play really close games, and for some odd reason, they find a way to just lose in heartbreaking fashion, or lose in like by one possession. It's amazing. I don't know if there's like some sort of Cornhusker curse on them, but it's just something that, hey, maybe they'll beat Michigan. It's like, oh, here's a fumble in the last, they're finally going to get over the hump. And then it's like, oh no, not again. But it's just one of those where the team Nebraska, I mean, it'd be nice if they were good again. But it's the ultimate Schadenfreude team where they think they're back and they're going to win a national championship again. And it's a long ways away. They need to pray for bowl eligibility this year, and who knows what's going to happen with Scott Frost. But the Sickos Committee, we can't take our eyes off of their games, because it's like, when is the shoe going to drop?
Yeah, I'll say this straight up. I hate Nebraska because they ruined, I forget how old I was, but diehard UCLA fan. They were like a 5-win team or whatever and beat us in the Foster Farms Bowl, and I'll never forgive them. I had to sit through all those garbage chicken commercials to lose to that awful Nebraska team. Wish nothing but the worst. Andrew, you're in Big Ten territory. What do you got on Nebraska?
I think the question is, what don't I have on Nebraska? They're 3-6. Their last 3 games are Wisconsin, Iowa, and Ohio State. Not in that order, but they're going to go 3-9. Scott Frost, I don't know what the heck is wrong with him. He went from being Nebraska's golden boy when they hired him, and now he has 15 career wins in 4 years. I don't know how much worse it can get for them. And as someone who's had to watch Nebraska football in person, it's not a pretty sight. Like, yeah, they have a good traveling fan base, but it's like you expect so much more from them. Not even because their name is Nebraska, but like they get some good players. You would think Scott Frost is able to coach a little bit, but Adrian Martinez can't throw a ball on the broadside of a barn. We saw that against Illinois. I saw that against Minnesota. And I don't know, they just don't play well when you would expect them to. And it's going to end up being, they're going to play well against a team that you don't expect them to play well against. They probably won't win, but as Commish talked about, it's probably going to be a 1-score game.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where I feel I like in the Michigan game when the camera kept panning to Scott Frost, I felt bad for him. He was clearly on the verge of tears, and he clearly wants this so bad, and he wants to bring Nebraska back. He just can't do it, and I really do feel bad for him because I want him to be successful. I want him to be successful there. It's brutal. We'll go to you, Lauren.
So I have this weird historical like fascination with Nebraska. And of course, I mean, I'm 20 years old. So like most of that was whenever I don't remember things. I just find them so interesting. I think like everyone said, the fact that they can put up points and then it's like, wait, you didn't win that game. It's truly, just something that's so fascinating. I definitely want to second Scott Frost is, there's this times where everyone's like, oh, it's fine. They're going to be great. And then it's, Twitter is in flames. Everyone's calling for him to be fired. It's really just one of those. It's like, okay, when is the time of chaos going to either, completely stop because he's gone, or are they going to make an impressionable win? And yeah.
Very well said. We'll get into our next segment here. We're looking forward to Saturday as always. We're looking forward to a good Sickos game. I'll go right back to you, Lauren. What Sickos game are you looking forward to most this Saturday?
Oh, I don't even know. That's the thing. Every time I thought about this, college football right now just baffles me. I feel like literally anything can happen, that any of them could be like Iowa losing to Purdue. That felt like last week. This week, I really give me 1 second to collect my thoughts.
All right, we'll go to you, Andrew, and then we'll go back to Lauren.
I lost my paper with my notes, guys. It's gone. The rain today.
So one thing that's fascinated me in the last week is Miami essentially kind of committing to Manny Diaz. Like, I don't know why. Miami is a program that, we're talking early 2000s. They're the team. They're the team. And now they are on the verge of being a 500 club in probably one of the worst ACCs we've seen in the last 10 years. I don't know why you're committing to mediocrity when you're able to do so much better when you're in such a talent-rich state like Florida, and you're getting not amazing classes like Florida State's out recruiting, Florida's out recruiting you like to a decent margin. So I actually want to see how Georgia Tech plays against Miami. I want to see if that, instilled confidence that they must have given Manny Diaz to help them win those last few games. I want to see if that helps them play against a Georgia Tech team who, I mean, let's face it, they're not amazing, but it's also not a team that you can just look over.
That's gross.
It's a sicko game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
We have that one ranked as the 8th rated sicko game of the week, Georgia Tech at Miami. So, yeah, that's a good one.
Knocked off number 8. Very good, Andrew. Lauren, do you have yours?
Yes, I found it where I wrote it. Okay. I think this is interesting, maybe just to me, but Arkansas and Mississippi State, both teams, very different ways they have approached the season. Arkansas, everyone's like, holy cow, heartbreak hogs, no more. Mississippi State, everyone's, Mike Leach still. And now in Mississippi State's ranked. And there's just too much chaos there. Yeah, I also disagree very vividly. And they beat us. And I did job walking out of Kyle Field that day. But it's just one of those games where they're both 5-3 and you're looking at it and you're like, oh, all right. What's going to happen here? Is Arkansas going to try and, stopping the heartbreak hogs for their dear students again or what? So that is my game.
Yeah, I mean, Mississippi State didn't receive a single vote in the Transfer Portal CFB poll. So and they're ranked 17th in the cowards poll. What did that game crack the Sickos rankings, Commish?
Yeah, that one was actually ranked 18th. We saw that two contrasting styles. Mississippi State 5-3, Arkansas 5-3. Both kind of going in opposite directions. Mississippi State seems to be ascending. Arkansas has lost 3 in a row. So that's kind of one of those SEC West chaos games that we don't necessarily know what to expect, and that's kind of why it made the rankings.
Gotcha. And what's your Sickos game of the week?
So our Sickos game of the week, we initially were leaning towards Missouri at Georgia. Sickos games can be many different things. Like it doesn't have to be 2 bad teams, like I mentioned, Old Dominion versus Florida International. Missouri's not great. They struggled with Vandy. They gave up 30 points to Vandy, almost 30 points to Vandy. And then now they're gonna go on the road to Georgia, where it may be one of those things, kind of like a Georgia Vandy game, where Georgia may score more points than Missouri has yards. So that was the one that was initially there. And our basically our joking, we call him the godfather of the Sickos Committee, Mr. Jason Kirk. He stated that you would be an honorary Sickos space cadet if you watch the entirety of the Georgia and Missouri game. So that was number 1 at first. Iowa and Wisconsin was number 2. Number 3 actually leaped to number 1 after the monkey business. So the Sickos game of the week was Texas at Iowa State. It's in prime time. Texas is 4-4. Iowa State's 5-3. Both very disappointing seasons. Big anxiety on both fan bases. Ames at night. That adds a little, and then you throw in the monkey. So yeah, that made the Sickos game of the week. The one that I'm looking forward to the most, besides Old Dominion and Florida International, it's UNLV at New Mexico. We're thinking that this is UNLV's last possible shot to get a win. The projections have UNLV losing to New Mexico by like less than a point. So we're rooting for the running Rebels, and we're hoping they can win and get a win on the road against the Lobos. But that's the one I'm going to be paying attention to, like the really, really gross games. I love those so much. We love them so much. It's just like, why is anybody in their right mind watching this game? But we want UNLV to get a win. And we don't know if Arizona can pull one off against Cal, but we think UNLV could possibly do it this week. So fingers crossed for them.
Yeah, I understand wanting to see UNLV win and just how fun that would be. Like, I am rooting for that. But also, if Arroyo had no wins in his tenure at UNLV, that is an even better storyline, I think. And I am also rooting hard for that. So I'm winning either way. What's your rank? I'll tell you my game, and then we'll get your ranking, and then I'll go into my thoughts on it. My Sickos game of the week: San Diego State at Hawaii.
So we have that one on the list. Let me find it real quick. I know that's there. It's kind of far down. It is. It's okay. It's fine. It got bonus points for the Hawaii test. We ranked like 41 games this week because Maction returned. That's the most we've ever ranked. We typically try to do it around 25, but we just could not. And then Maction returned. So like every single MAC game got ranked. So it was ranked, I think, 35th. San Diego State, we love the punting. The punter is amazing with 80-yard punts. Fresno State held the punter in check. Honestly, that was kind of he only had one over 50 yards. And he had a touchback, which was kind of unheard of for the San Diego State punter. But that should be an interesting game. And that gets the bonus points of being really, really late. Like the Hawaii test at like kickoff at 10 p.m. Eastern. or I'm sorry, 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern. It doesn't give the added bonus of having to watch on some random Team One sports app or like Hawaii local TV, but it's one that's up there. And we actually kind of think that maybe an entertaining game. Hawaii's offense is come back around, but we don't know how San Diego State's defense will recover after they lost to Florida. I'm sorry, Fresno State. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm surprised that this one was so low on your rankings. I'm super excited for this one. Like you said, I'm in Vegas, so it's an 8 p.m. Pacific start time, which is prime time for me, obviously. Only true sickos, I think, are going to stay up to watch this game, so that factored into my rankings. San Diego State's offense is anemic in every sense of the word. Oh, it's abysmal. I think Hawaii is a live dog to win this game, and look, San Diego State should not be ranked. More beef I have with the committee. On Hawaii, one of their running backs, Dedrick Parson, who's a transfer from Howard. He's been fantastic. He's a really good receiving back. The Hawaii DB, Corey Bethley, deserves so much more attention. He's been robbed of a player of the week once or twice. I know once for sure. I forget who it was against, but I know he had a phenomenal game. He deserves more love as an NFL draft prospect too. And then you have, like you mentioned, the punter, the kicker, the generational special teamser, Matt Ariza. I think I'm saying his name correctly. I hope so. But he is a phenomenal talent. Sickos love him. Football fans love him. The special teams ace of he's one of the best we've ever seen. He is absurd. The onside kick he had last week, which didn't even count, which is lame, but was incredible. And anytime the most fun player on a team is their kicker / punter / kickoff specialist, you're a sick team. And now we'll get into our player focus real quick. We'll kind of run through this one real quick so we can get to the games we're picking. I'll start with you, Andrew. Who's your player to watch this week?
My player to watch this week is Malik Willis, one of the top quarterbacks in this year's NFL draft class, going up against Ole Miss. Ole Miss's defense, it's not as awful as we thought it was going to be going into the season, but it's also still Ole Miss defense. I want to see how Malik Willis plays against Ole Miss. This is going to be a very interesting game. This was another game I also considered for the Sicko game of the week, but I'm really interested to see how, not even just Malik Willis, but Liberty in general playing against Ole Miss. Because me personally, I think Ole Miss is a tad overrated. And I think that, Liberty, they had the loss to ULM, as Kamish talked about, with being Terry Bowden supporter earlier. And just they haven't performed over the last few weeks. Obviously, they had a good win last week, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Malik Willis play. I think that this could be a big game for his draft stock.
I love that pick. We'll go to you for yours, Kamish. Real quick, though, because I want to get into our game picks.
So like a player?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see Sincere McCormick go up against the UTEP defense. I want to see if he can run along with Frank Harris. I'm excited for UTEP and UTSA as a non-Sickos game. But, I'm excited to watch that UTEP defense that typically bottles up the run relatively well, see if they can handle this UTSA rushing attack.
Love that pick as well. We'll go to you quick, Lauren.
My pick is Max Duggan, and it's truly just because I'm interested in watching this TCU team without Gary Patterson on the sideline.
Gotcha. I also went with Malik Willis. Good pick, Andrew. I'm echoing everything you said. The guy was built in a lab. He's a sensational talent, freak athlete, throws missiles. Massive game for him. Watching him against Corral is going to be very fun. All those injuries on Ole Miss's side makes this a very competitive game that Liberty might win outright, which is shocking. Now we'll get into our game picks. I'll start with your pick for Army Air Force Commish. This game is very weird. It's at Choctaw Stadium, which is the old Texas Rangers ballpark. It's an 8:30 a.m. Pacific kickoff. So we're getting this game 30 minutes before every other game starts. Gotta mix this game with college game day. Who do you have in this one?
I'm going to go with Air Force. I like what they were doing. They were really close in their game last week. And I feel like I'm going to go with Air Force here. I have just a gut instinct here. Army and Air Force, they're always great battles, but I'm leaning Air Force this year.
Gotcha. We'll go to you, Lauren.
My pick is Army. I just tend to always pick them. I think they're interesting.
What about you, Andrew?
I'm gonna go with Air Force as well as Commish. I think Air Force's rushing attack has looked really good this year. Obviously, they played San Diego State really close, and you know what? They lost that game. They probably could have easily won that. That was a ugly game to watch. I also don't know how much Army's defense is going to be able to compete with Air Force's offense.
Gotcha. I'm with Lauren, though. I'm going with Army, and watching option football on the baseball field is going to be quite fun. Even though it's converted still, it'll be quite fun. Our next game, Wake Forest, UNC could be a high-scoring affair. Andrew, who do you have?
You know what? I'm going to start believing in the Demon Deacons. Wake Forest is 8-0, and they haven't had a game where it's like, oh, well, yeah, they beat this team, but it's like they don't look amazing. Well, they do look pretty good. They have a great offense led by Sam Hartman. I think Jaquay Roberson's a very underlooked wide receiver. UNC hasn't performed up to expectations this year. If they do win, it's going to be off a major performance from Sam Howell, but I'm going to take Wake Forest to keep them the magical season going.
The dream season stays alive. Commish, who do you have?
I just want to note that this is a non-conference game.
So
that makes it a little bit more sicko for us. That's why we had it ranking 10th. I'm picking the Deacons. We gotta believe. I'm a certified Deeks 7 days a week. So let's go Wake Forest.
Lauren.
I hate following the crowd here, but I also have Wake Forest winning. I'm a Sam Hartman fan. Remember whenever he committed to Wake Forest and you're going, what are you doing? Like, you're a ranked quarterback, but hey, he's able to get some things going there. So wishing them the best of luck as they continue this journey.
I am so glad to be the only one on UNC here. I'm strictly picking this 4-4. Just awful season they've had. I'm so glad to be picking them. They're favored against the 8-0 top 10 team. Give me UNC all day in this one, while the public is all over Wake Forest. Our next game, Liberty Ole Miss. Commish, who do you have in this game?
I got to go with Ole Miss by the Terry Bowden transitive loss to ULM. I don't believe in Liberty, and I think Ole Miss is going to possibly treat Liberty like they treated Tulane. I can see Ole Miss doing it. I hope Corral's okay, but I feel like Ole Miss is just too fast for Liberty on defense. And I mean, if ULM puts up 28 points on Liberty in one quarter, I really want to see what Ole Miss can do against Liberty's defense.
Lauren.
I have Ole Miss, and it's really just because I want them to play super hard against Liberty and Liberty kind of fight back a little bit, and then us be able to beat Ole Miss next week. That is solely my reason for it. I also, conflicting feelings about Matt Corral, but Lane Kiffin's got his swag on here, probably more than anyone would like to admit. So they're definitely going to take this one.
Lane Kiffin is swaggy. I'm going Ole Miss 34-31. I think it's going to be a really fun game. I just think that Ole Miss injuries on the offensive side of the ball could really play into this game being closer than it should be. Our next game is SMU Memphis. I'll go right back to you, Lauren. Who do you have in this game?
I have SMU winning, but I think Memphis will be able to put up a little bit of a fight here more than we think. SMU coming off of their loss against Houston last week. I'm sure they want that, but I know Memphis will probably try to capitalize on that swing in SMU's momentum as well.
Andrew?
Well, quick. What'd you say, Liam?
Who do you have for SMU Memphis?
Well, I'm also going to give my Liberty Ole Miss pick because
I skipped you. I'm an idiot. My bad. Go both of them.
I'll give it quickly. Give me Liberty or give me death. Malik Willis has a big game. Give me the Flames in a flaming upset over the Rebels.
Yeah, you were excited to say that.
And then, I was too excited to say that. I apologize. And I'm going to take SMU to a bounce back win over Memphis after last week's game against Houston.
My bad for skipping you. I'm a terrible host. Gotta suspend me for next week. Kamish, who do you have?
One thing about going to Memphis, typically all laws do not apply there. There's the majestic allure of the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid. But I think SMU gets out of there with a win.
Yeah, I'm also going with SMU. They just can't afford to drop another game. And I think after being snubbed by the committee, the bad committee, the cowards committee, they're going to come out here and make a statement. I'm going with them 42-28. Our next game is Michigan State Purdue. Surprising low 3-point spread for Michigan State. We'll go straight back to you, Kamish. Who do you have in this game?
This is a close one. I feel that that Purdue could possibly pull it off, but I think Michigan State just sneaks a win by maybe a field goal.
So right on that 3-point spread, Andrew, who do you have?
You know, it's tough. Purdue, these last few years, they've been the team to take down these top teams. You saw the Ohio State game a few years ago. Obviously, earlier this season, they beat Iowa when they shouldn't have been the number 2 team in the country, but I'll try not to rant about Iowa this episode. Give me Michigan State, but if Purdue is going to win, it's going to be off of the production of George Karlaftis.
Good shout there to a great edge prospect. Lauren, who do you have in this game?
I have Michigan State. I think their ego's a little inflated after top 25 and everything, so they will want to maintain that. And Purdue being the upset happy school that they are, I think Michigan State will definitely be on edge for that as well.
Yeah, I went with Michigan State 31-21. I'm honestly tripping right now and don't even remember if I've given scores for every game, which I usually do, so whoops. But I just can't see Purdue pulling off another top-tier win. I can't see that happening, and we'll see if Kenneth Walker could keep that Heisman run going, because we already know his tickets to New York are booked. Our next game, Auburn A&M. Lauren, we'll go with you. Why do you have the Aggies?
So I have the Aggies because it terrifies me every time we play Auburn. I don't know if y'all know this, but like the past 8 years of these games have actually been the strangest, most stupid things on the entire planet. Also, I have spoken before about how much Bo Nix confuses me. And I just really think the way this Aggie defense has been playing, it's a good mix of an older D line with some young guys out at the DBs that I feel like they'll be able to confuse Bo Nix as much as he confuses me. So yeah, I think that defense is going to be able to really hold up with them. He's not going to be able to scramble as much as he's been able to recently and just make weird plays, because that's a lockdown defense right there. And that, yeah, wrecking crew style week.
All right. King of the Sickos Committee, who do you have in this game?
The ultimate sicko quarterback. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't think he knows what he's going to do. I got to go with Bo Nix in Auburn. I really don't know what's going to happen. He's going to dance around in the pocket for some odd reason and either throw a backbreaking interception or an amazing touchdown pass. But I think Auburn squeaks out a win, maybe by, let's just say, maybe like 31-27.
Andrew, who do you have?
I'm gonna go with A&M here. I like their rushing attack, and once again, Bo Nix. You can't predict what he's gonna do because he doesn't know what he's gonna do. They probably don't even have a game plan for him. They just say go out there and play football.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned earlier in the show that we shouldn't make Lauren upset by picking Auburn. King of the Sickos, Mr. Kamish, did that. I'm sorry, I'm picking Auburn 24.
Hey, I got 2 Aggie in-laws, so I'm used to making them. My apologies, Lauren.
I don't know why I'm picking Auburn. I literally wrote down why, and then ended it with Bo Nix Heisman talk.
It doesn't make sense, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
It,
but
it
like
just doesn't.
Lauren mentioned, this game is off the rockers every single year. So why not have a Bone Nix Hail Mary game winner? Let's have that. Our next game, FCS. Montana State, Eastern Washington. Really excited for this one. Andrew, who do you have in this game and why?
Okay, I'm going to try and keep this short. As a related Montana fan, I want college game day at Montana State. If that means Montana State has to win, you know what? I don't want it anymore. I hate those Bobcats. I hate them with everything in my life. Even though Eastern Washington has the ugliest field in college football, I hate that red turf. Give me the Eagles.
Love that red turf. Kamish, who do you have in this game?
Yuck.
I mean, the Sickos Committee loves the red turf. It's up there with the gray turf of Eastern Michigan, and also Central Arkansas with the gray and purple turf. I'm gonna go with the red turf. Eastern Washington. They're at home. I know it's a rivalry game, but Eastern Washington.
Yeah, Lindenwood also has very good turf. I don't know why I know that, but they do. Lauren, who do you have in this game?
I picked Michigan. Excuse me. I picked Eastern Washington, and it's funny I'll mention the turf here because I did Google them and did some research, and I thought that was fun and funky and fresh, so might as well be fun and funky and fresh as an entire program to win this game.
All I'm saying is there is no field like Eastern Washington's when it's snowing on that red turf and it looks like a battlefield. I don't know. There's pictures from years ago when it snowed on that turf in a game, and it is, I don't know. It looks like there's been so much carnage done. It just looks so sick for whatever reason. I'm going with Eastern Washington in this game between number 4 Montana State, number 5 Eastern Washington. This should have been the site of college game day. I don't know why it's at Tulsa, Cincy. I know earlier in the year, college game day, like people were looking at Big Sky schools to go to, so maybe they go to Montana State, Montana. They should have gone to Eastern Washington, Montana. They should have gone to Eastern Washington, Montana State. I have EWU winning 38-33. Going to be a really fun game. Eric Barrier, if he goes nuclear in this game, we need to actually start talking about him as a Heisman candidate. He should be in that top 5, top 7. He's been fantastic all year. FCS players could win the Heisman too. They don't just have to win the Walter Payton. Our next game, Mississippi State, Arkansas. Lauren, who do you have in this game?
Okay, this one hurts, but I'm going with Mississippi State. I think Mike Leach is going to really capitalize on this momentum that they've been having. He's also one of my favorite coaches. I think he's hilarious. And I just feel like him against this Arkansas team that's been so back and forth that he'll really be content with prepping for it and keeping their momentum going, because it's easier to keep going with momentum than to build it with what Arkansas has been doing.
Andrew, who do you have in this SEC game?
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it earlier. Mississippi State being ranked kind of shocked us. No one in our poll had Mississippi State even getting a vote. I was actually really close to giving them a vote, but I took them out last second. I think they're a good team. I think Mississippi State's a good team. I don't think Arkansas is that good. I think the first few games of, this season for Arkansas were a little inflated. I mean, they beat Texas, which is a good win. Sorry, Lauren, they beat A&M. But I mean, since then they've been atrocious. I'm going to take Mississippi State here as long as Mike Leach has some Halloween candy in his back pocket.
Who does the commission of the Sickos have in this game?
I'm going the opposite way. I'm going to ride the Sam Pittman Hogs here. Arkansas. I love Barry Odom, their defensive coordinator. They shut down Mike Leach last year. They kind of laid out the blueprint on how to stop the air raid. Mike Leach is notoriously stubborn, doesn't really change much. I figure Arkansas to hold Mississippi State in check. And I feel like they can get their ground game going after they went through that brutal stretch. They played Alabama, they played Georgia. They got beat up, and they really, hopefully they're rested after their bye week.
Yeah, I think I hope for Mississippi State's sake that Mike Leach isn't high off Halloween candy in this game. I'm going with Arkansas 27-17. I'm not saying anything else. I want to get on to the other games. I spoke too much about the games prior. Our next game is Boise State, Fresno State. We'll go straight back to you, Kamish. Who do you have in this game?
I don't know why Boise State is disappointing this year. It doesn't make any sense to me. And Fresno State's a lot of fun. I got to go with Jake Hayner and Fresno State.
Yeah, definitely understand that pick. Andrew, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going to share the sentiments. I don't know what's going on with Boise this year. They just don't look like the Boise teams of the past. Fresno's like Commission talked about, they're a fun team to watch. I'm going to take Fresno in a 7-point game.
Hopefully Jalen Cropper is healthy and ready to go for Fresno State. Lauren, who do you have in this game?
Also, Fresno State for the exact same reasons.
Let's go. I'm the only one on Boise State for absolutely no reason. My picks have been terrible this year, and I'm taking
You
Boise.
can't have unanimous picks.
Yeah, we
You
can't.
can't do it. Can't do it.
Can't do
You become
it.
a meme.
I have Boise State winning 33-30. I don't know why. They've played bad, but their losses have still been close. And they had that big win against BYU a few weeks ago. They've showed that maybe they can, keep winning. I don't know. The thing here with Fresno State is they are playing for the MWC West division title, which they control their own destiny. They only have 3 games left because they play a week 0 game. This is going to be a team's best chance to beat them because there are other opponents. It's, I think, New Mexico maybe and San Jose State. I could be tripping, but Boise State, I think, goes out there and kind of just shocks them. I don't know. I think Khalil Shakir is going to have a monster game too, and we'll go into what should have actually been College Game Day if it wasn't Eastern Washington, Montana State. Cincy, Tulsa, gross. UTSA, UTEP. Andrew, let's hear it.
As much as I support the minecart, meat.
Lauren, who do you have in this Texas showdown?
I'm picking El Paso. I think as a team that, whenever you're not exactly expected to win in a home game and something that has a bunch of attention, it'll really help. And also, I just looked at tickets for this game and they're $15, and I just find that a little comedic. But yes, I'm going with El Paso.
Buy tickets to this game. Sell this game out. We need an electric atmosphere. 7:15 p.m. Pacific on ESPN2. I think great start time. Gonna be super fun. Kamish of the Sickos. Who do you have in this game? Do you have your beloved Miners?
So I would just say this. I reside in San Antonio. My wife is a UTSA grad. She's an alum. But the Sickos Committee is dedicated to UTEP. So I'm either in trouble at home or I'm in trouble Sickos Committee wise here. I really think UTSA, again, coming off their bye week, they're fired up. I think they're going to put up a lot of points. I don't know if UTEP can. So I really think maybe UTSA wins this one, maybe like in a fun, high-scoring game. I'd probably say maybe like 38-31 or maybe like 41-33 or 41-34, something like that. But I feel like it's going to be a fantastic game. Sorry, Miners, you can get another logo on the minecart next week, but I'll be happy if you win though. But I don't want to get in trouble at the commissioner's house right now.
I wouldn't be. They won't be apologizing. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. They shouldn't be mad with you. They should be mad with me. I have UTSA winning. I have them scoring 42. I have UTEP scoring 13. I think this is going to be a just decimation. I think that UTSA is going to go out there after being snubbed of these rankings too, which didn't even go into my blowout pick here. I think UTSA is going to tear UTEP apart. This defense is super, super good. Rashad Wisdom, Jalen Haynes, Antonio Parks, a bunch of other names I can name. it's not just Sincere McCormick on offense. Frank Harris has blossomed into a good quarterback. Zachary Franklin is the best receiver in school history. I'm looking at Tyke Ogle-Kellogg to make more strides. This team is good. We've touted them all season long at the Transfer Portal CFB. I will back them to win this game in blowout fashion. Maybe it won't be 42-13, but they are going to blow UTEP out, and maybe people will finally start to see what I've been saying all year. UTSA is America's team. Like Andrew said, meep, meep. Very passionate about UTSA. That's how we do it over here, and that's going to do it for another very fun podcast at the Transfer Portal CFB. Appreciate anyone who watched this. If you watch this on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you to Andrew and Lauren for co-hosting this, and Commissioner of the Sickos, Mr. Escalante. Appreciate you coming on. I'll let you say, I don't know, your final words, shout your accounts out, whatever you want to do. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
I mean, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're quite ridiculous. We're at Sickos Committee. We tweet about the most ridiculous games. I mean, it's just a lot of fun. We're talking about the little ones. I mean, last week everybody's yelling about Michigan and Michigan State, and we're focused on Rutgers versus Illinois, and Rutgers making a giant, fourth down stop to keep our crazy Sickos 7-way Big Ten West tie, which is still mathematically alive, but this time Wisconsin can win it.
Definitely looking forward to seeing how that plays out. I don't know why 99.9% of that division is ranked, though. And it all leads back to that cowards committee. Unreal. Well, thank you for tuning in, watching. Make sure, again, like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, Twitter, wherever it be. Our ads are on the screen. Follow us there. Thank you all again for listening.